Okay, let's just jump right into this explainer. Today, we're totally skipping the sugar-coated motivation and taking a hard, kind of uncomfortable look at the raw, scientific reality of your daily routines. We're going to break down the stark contrast between the digital habits that are quietly eroding your focus right now and the rare psychological traits that actually define true high-level intelligence. We really have to shatter this major illusion right out of the gate. Most people think intelligence is just a fixed score, right? Like it's just a number you're born with and you're stuck with it. But the reality is far more dynamic. Thanks to neuroplasticity, your brain is constantly, literally reshaping itself based purely on how you use it. So you're actively building, or frankly dismantling, your own intelligence every single day. Which brings us to part one, the descent, how toxic digital habits degrade cognition. Now, neuroplasticity is a fascinating double-edged sword. Usually we celebrate it, right? It's the exact same mechanism that lets you learn a new language or play an instrument. But here's the brutal truth. Right now, it is currently being weaponized by your smartphone to destroy your attention. If you're spending hours a day just mindlessly scrolling, you are actively training, literally wiring your brain to become slower and way more distracted. And that brings us to our first major roadblock, attention fragmentation. When you're endlessly scrolling through those rapid-fire 15-second videos, you aren't just entertaining yourself. You are causing a structural weakening of your working memory. You're actually rewiring your mind to panic, literally panic, when you're faced with long-form reading or really anything that requires sustained, deep effort. This leads directly into what's called cognitive offloading. Because we rely so heavily on our devices to store everything, phone numbers, directions, random trivia, our brains make a ruthless efficiency calculation. It basically decides that internal remembering is completely unnecessary. By constantly outsourcing your memory to a device in your pocket, your brain's internal database simply withers away. It's a classic case of use it or lose it. Building on that, we run into cognitive miserliness. Your brain is biologically programmed to conserve energy, which makes sense. But every single time you instantly Google an answer instead of struggling for just a second to recall it yourself, you are succumbing to that search instead of think reflex. You're taking the path of least resistance and significantly reducing your mental endurance. Remember, the brain really only grows stronger when it has to struggle a bit. So, the crucial point is mapped out right here. These everyday habits are literal cognitive roadblocks. Take pathological multitasking. It's totally a myth. You're really just rapid task switching, which absolutely drains your energy and destroys your ability to filter information. Then there's digital validation dependency. Chasing likes. That literally spikes your cortisol, causes emotional stress, and actually kills your ability to learn from your mistakes. Constant instant gratification completely destroys your patience for any long-term intellectual gain. And chronic digital sleep neglect, that stops your brain from clearing out metabolic waste at night, wrecking your memory, attention, and reasoning. These aren't just quirky little personality traits, guys. They keep you stuck at a purely reactive level of thinking. All right, let's shift gears. Part two, the pivot, the antidote to cognitive decay. So, how in the world do we actually break out of this cycle? Well, the ultimate solution lies way beyond basic logic and memory. It requires attaining the fifth type of IQ, and that is metacognitive intelligence. You see, most people think, sure, but very few people actually analyze how they think. This is the rarest form of IQ. It's the ability to actively monitor your own biases, catch your mental errors before you even make them, and adjust your strategies in real time. Mastering your own mind through metacognition, literally thinking about how you think, is what empowers you to finally clear away all that modern digital chaos. Moving on to part three, the ascent. The subtle habits of genius. So, what does this actually look like in practice? Highly intelligent people process reality in distinct, fascinating layers. Step one, they engage in internal social simulation. They're predicting outcomes and playing out conversations in their heads before they ever happen. Step two is mental editing. They filter their logic internally to ensure real depth. And step three, this is a big one, tactical simplification. Real genius isn't about using massive, confusing words to sound smart. It's about simplifying incredibly complex concepts to make others feel smart. And when it comes to their daily routines, highly intelligent people don't force some rigid, super strict hourly schedule. They don't manage time. They manage their biological energy. By understanding their own personal cognitive rhythms, they aggressively protect their periods of peak mental energy for deep work rather than just spreading themselves thin over an 8-hour day. They also intentionally allow for creative chaos because they know that forced grind culture productivity is actually the enemy of true insight. All of this culminates in how they fundamentally view the world. As you can see, while average minds tend to process information in a straight line, just reacting to surface-level words and immediate events, high IQ individuals think in simultaneous layers. They can literally zoom out, tracking complex behavior loops and seeing the invisible systems connecting completely isolated events that everyone else just completely misses. Which brings us to part 4, the intervention, the brutal psychological truth. This leads to the ultimate question you really have to ask yourself today. Are you using your mind, or is your technology using you? You have to ruthlessly self-diagnose your habits here. It requires embracing the sheer discomfort of breaking those dopamine addictions we talked about earlier. You have to make a definitive, conscious choice between the clarity of metacognition and the absolute chaos of cognitive decay. I really want to leave you with this final takeaway. True metacognitive intelligence isn't about adding new shiny skills to show off to the world. It's really about aggressively subtracting the mental weights that are holding you back. Cut out the toxic habits, cut out the need for constant digital validation, and quiet the noise. Real growth begins with elimination, not addition. Silence is power because people respect what they don't fully understand. So, what exactly are you going to eliminate today?